Hello everyone. Today I would like to show you how you can start writing TypeScript, adding TypeScript to your project, to your JavaScript project by using JSDoc. What is JSDoc? JSDoc is basically, these are JavaScript comments that you can enhance, enrich with metadata, like a parameter description. Let me show you an example. So this is my example project here. It doesn't really matter what it does, but it already has what is so-called JSDoc comments. It's like a normal JavaScript comment, block comment, but enhanced with metadata. For example, this addTask class instance method basically has a parameter that is required and is of type string and is the title. And it might throw an error, this method, and this method returns an object, the task object. Okay, fine. And when you hover over it here, you already see in VS Code, that's typically the case, you get these JSDoc comments also nice visually shown in this toolbar. And you see the type definitions basically here. So it takes a title, which is of type string, and it returns an object. Now you might ask yourself, how do you get involved into TypeScript and what it has to do with JSDoc? Well, first of all, you have to write some types, and that's a learning process on its own. You need to get used to the TypeScript ecosystem and the syntax. Let's assume for now that you have written some types. If they are final or not doesn't really matter, you will figure it out. But basically, these are type definitions that I wrote. And basically, all I'm doing here is I'm exporting them to be used. But now you might ask yourself, well, this is a JavaScript file. How can I use them in here? Well, there is a way to do this, because there is a way to import type definitions into the JSDoc ecosystem. So I can say here, please import this type definition file, and especially, or more directly, import this task interface from this file and bind it to this type in the JSDoc ecosystem. It's written here like type task equals task, which is even more confusing. I remember myself this thing that basically the last part is the name of this thing, of this variable or type in the JSDoc ecosystem. And the part in curly brackets is basically what comes out of TypeScript. And then basically, let's also enable the TypeScript checking. What we can do now, basically, let's look at what this addTask component, addTask method is doing. And basically, you see it returns an object, and this returned object seems to be the task itself. So let's say instead of returning object, which is very arbitrary, an object in JavaScript world can be anything, literally anything. We can say, obviously, it returns a task, because now we have this type imported here. And what you can see now, something must have happened in the background, because now I get this red line here saying, this type blah 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 is missing the following properties from type task: priority, status, tags, updated at. And this type here is basically what's coming, what it infers out of this thing here. So here we have a task defined as ID, title, completed, created at. To make it even more visible to you, let's just define a task with an ID. You see now it says type ID string is missing the following properties: title, priority, status, and so on. And these missing properties, it gets through the TypeScript interface, because this is basically saying, hey, you need to return an ID, a title, priority status. These are required fields, so to say, in the task object. Description and due date and so on, these are optional, but the other ones are required, so you must specify them when you specify a task. And that's basically what it is yelling at me, that I didn't do that. And that's basically all of it. That's the way you can use TypeScript in your JavaScript projects without doing the extra mile of converting your whole project to TypeScript in the first place. You might want to do this still at some point, but in the very beginning, you can get quite far with your code base by using this technique. And it might help to gradually move to TypeScript in your project, especially if it's a huge project. I hope this was helpful for you. Leave a comment below or even subscribe to my channel. I plan to post more videos in the next month and years. And yeah, that's it for now. Have a nice day. Ciao, ciao.